welcome back to the channel, and welcome if you are new. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be giving you all my debt confession. I did not want to call this a debt update, and I'm trying to keep my glasses it's on the tip of my nose because like I have the ring light here and I don't want the glare. It's probably glaring enough anyway, but I'm getting ready because I'm about to head out the door. So I have my band on and my hair is pulled up because I just got to do all things and put my contacts on, all that. But anyway, you're not here for that. So what I'll be doing today is going through my debt confession with you all. Like I said, I don't want to call it a debt update simply because it's not an update from where I was. It's where I'm restarting from, basically. So, yeah, I'm going to do a nice little overhead for you all where we walk through my debt, kind of what's happening and what my plan is. So, full disclosure, I'm pretty sure you all saw the title of this video to know how much debt I have. So currently, I'm definitely sitting in these 6 digits of debt. I'm sitting somewhere around, once the final calculations were done, somewhere around $370,000 ish of debt. And that is a combination of consumer debt, which are like credit cards, any kind of personal loans. Also includes my mortgage, student loan debt. So it includes all the things. Does not include an auto loan because I don't have that right now. Paid my car off earlier this year. Don't remember. It might have been last year. Time is moving so quickly for me. But so yeah, so I'm going to take you all through my debt. I do kind of want to preface the overview that we're about to do with I want this to be a no judgment zone, but I do want this to be an accountability zone because I racked up this debt. I racked it up during a time of, I don't even want to say mental health crisis because that's really not what it was. But it was through some mental health struggles, you know, and spending and all the things. So yeah, I racked up a considerable amount of debt during the last like 2.5 years, however long it's been since I've fully been away from YouTube. So like I said, I want this to be a shame-free zone, judgment-free zone, but I do want this to be an accountability zone. I've been learning to change my behavior over the past 6 months to, well, 6 to 9 months or so. Well, really longer than that because we're in August now. So probably like 10 months, honestly. Almost a year. Yeah, like 10 months, 10, 11 months when I'd like officially kind of started to hone back in on my debt. I've always been a budgeter. Budgeting is something I've always done even when I came off of YouTube. But I did kind of start to slack off in the debt part. I really did. I truly did. I wasn't attacking debt the way I should have been, and I was adding to my debt. But I will say in the last probably, I don't say this entire year, so we'll say 8 months, I've not added to my debt. But I have been, you know, attacking debt more strategically. But I will take that back and say that that is kind of a falsehood. I have added to my debt, like by gaining new debt. I haven't added debt to my existing debt, if that makes sense. So like the credit cards and things I'm going to go through and show you, I have not added to those. But I do have a plan to work them out and get them all paid off. So if you want to see that, that's what's up next. All right, so let's look at my debt. First, I need to trim this down to size. I will include this budget breakdown sheet just as like a freebie for anybody that wants it. I will link it. I have like a link for it down below in the description box, but it's just a debt breakdown so I can break down all of the debt. And then I have this little total box right here that kind of totals the different types of debt, and then you can put an overall total here. So I actually printed this to 7x9 size because I'm going to put it in my budget planner. So let me actually get my paper cutter here so I can go ahead and trim this down to size. Okay, so got my little measurement markings here. So I always have to remember, and I have to do it by 8.5 by 11. So 8.5 will be across the top, and then by 11 will be down. So that means I need the 7 across, the 9 down. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to line this up with the 7 here. All right, and then I'm just gonna line, oops, wrong way. I'm gonna line this up with the 9. Okay. All right, so let's get this out of the way here. Oh, and then I'm gonna need my hole punch. Hole, please. All right, so we have my Happy Planner punch here. Let me get rid of this. And how I actually, I can't remember where I got this from, but it is the Happy Planner Create 365 punch, and it has like these lines here. You can put a max of 3 sheets in here. It has the lines here for you to measure which planner size that you're putting holes in for the paper. So here the outer lines are of course going to be for your regular size pages, so that's going to be your 8.5 by 11, and then these inner lines here are for your Happy Planner Classic 7 by 9 situation. So we are going to put it in here, and what I usually do is, I'm weird, I typically don't line them up right in here. I usually just put the edge of my paper like right to this line here at the end, and it cuts the paper perfect every time for me. So well, puts the holes in perfect every time for me. So I do it there, line it up right there, and then we punch. All right, so we are zoomed in a bit, and of course my OG viewers will know I always kind of cock my paper to the side because it's just easier for me to write that way. I can't write like this. Like, I don't, like, if you could see like me sitting here, it just feels so unnatural to write like this. So I just have to cock my little paper to the side like this and write like that. Maybe other people are like that, I don't know. But most people, when I see them doing overhead shots, their paper tends to be straight up and down like this, and I just can imagine them sitting there, and because technically I'm almost crossing my arm over the front of my body in order to write like this, and then on top of that I can't see what I'm writing, so I always have to put my paper to the side like this. But anyway, a little OG Easter egg for my folks. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm actually going to do them by sections the way I have it laid out here at the bottom. I'm going to start with my credit cards, go into loan, real estate debt. I do not have any auto debt. God. And then I'll do student loan debt. I don't have anything that I need to label as miscellaneous. So like I said, I'm going to go in order from the way this is set up here on the little chart at the bottom. So I'm going to start with my credit card debt. Now, the way I have laid out this sheet, I have your creditor name here, balance, minimum payment, what the current interest rate is, and I also put a slot for like if you're under a current promo with your interest, such if it's like 0% interest for a certain number of months or whatever, this is for you to put in the date of that. And then I have this slot here for ranking. I sometimes find when I do stuff like this and I want it to be in order, I sometimes don't write it in order. So I was like, to save that, I'm just going to be able to write and flow the way I need to. And then I will come back in and rank everything in case I happen to not put it in order. But this sheet, I wanted to tailor it to, because it's originally I was going to do 2 different sheets. I was going to do a debt snowball type sheet, and then I was going to do a debt avalanche to kind of cater to each, you know, debt payoff strategy. But I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it all in one sheet. So that is the purpose of why I added the percentage column and then the rank column, because like I said, I wanted to tailor this one sheet so that way you can use it if you are doing the debt snowball or if you're doing debt avalanche. Boom. So but we're gonna say it's a debt snowball, but kind of not when we get towards some other sections. So we're going to go ahead and start with our credit cards. So we're going to say we have Wells Fargo Reflect. The balance on Wells Fargo Reflect, and let me actually zoom y'all in just a little bit tighter so that way y'all can see. All right, so balance for Wells Fargo Reflect is going to be $6,435.02. The minimum payment for that one is $137. It is at an interest rate of 27%. There is no promo with this one right now. All right, and next I'm going to move into my Chase Freedom. That balance is going to be $2,207.80. Minimum payment of $40. It is currently at a 0% interest rate, and that interest promo date ends on May 3rd, 2026. Next, we have my personal Amex, and the reason why I categorize it as personal Amex is because I do have a business Amex card as well. So personal Amex is $439.30. Minimum payment of $40. Interest rate 27. There is no promo with that one. Next, we're going to say Amazon. Amazon has a balance of $879.95. It has a minimum payment of $29. Interest rate is at 29%, and there is no promo with that one. I'm going to say CityPay. And CityPay is it's not really a credit card, but it is. I didn't receive an actual card with it. We're going to say that. It's similar to how like PayPal credit works. Like it's a credit card, but you don't receive like a physical card, but you can use it to like shop online and all the things and use it like a credit card. So maybe it's more like a line of credit. Maybe we'll say that it's more like a line of credit, but I'm going to list it in with the credit cards. I actually used this to make a purchase, a home upgrade about, I think like 9 months ago. So the balance on that one is $3,740.61. Okay. Minimum payment for that is $85. The interest rate is 17%, and it's not currently on a promo. We're just gonna go ahead and do PayPal credit only because I was talking about it. PayPal credit, that is $1,732.58. Funny story about PayPal credit. This actually has just 2 things on it. I purchased some business related items that I needed to kind of get YouTube back going, getting back into writing, getting back into Etsy, all the things. And then I purchased some Chris Brown tickets. Do not come for me in the comments. Don't do it. I did. I got some Chris Brown tickets. The business purchase was pretty much almost paid off. It was only a couple of $100. But then, like I said, I got the Chris Brown tickets. But anyway, so that is a payment of $29. And it is actually on a promo, an interest promo of 0%. And PayPal credit tends to do those just like as you make purchases or whatever. If you make certain purchases, they will give you like a promo for the interest rate. So I have 0% interest on the, I'm just gonna put down the promo interest end date for the Chris Brown tickets purchase, but not the end date for the business purchases, because that's going to be paid off way before that date hits. So the promo date that I have for the Chris Brown tickets, it is a 6-month, so I don't know the exact date, but it is in January. It's January of 26. So what I'll do is I will put that here as 1. I'll leave the date blank, and then I'll do the year 26. I will go back and figure out what date exactly it is in January, but it is in January. So there's that. Let's see, we got Tractor Supply, and this actually is a purchase of a generator. If you live in Memphis, you know, if you know, you know. So generator purchase, so we have balance of that is $2,088.10. Minimum payment for it is $30. It is on a interest promo for 0% interest for 36 months. I purchased in June, so that would be 3 years. So that would be June of 28, but I'll have to look and see what the exact date is. So interest free for 36 months, as long as I pay it off, which it absolutely will be. Harbor Freight. This is also a generator purchase, and this is actually a generator I'm looking to sell. I just haven't posted it on Facebook Marketplace yet. But what I intend to sell it for, it won't fully pay off the credit card, because I'm looking at what the current price is of the generator, like what people could get it for if they went and got it out the store. And of course I can't sell it for that amount. It's not used though, I will say that. It is no longer in the box, but it has not had a single drop of oil or gas in it. The reason why I purchased a new one from Tractor Supply is that I needed to buy one that was an inverter to protect our electronics and things when we're using it to power the house in the event of an outage. And the one I got from Harbor Freight is not. It's a high watt generator, but it's not an inverter. So that was an oopsie on my part. And by the time I realized that and, you know, educated myself more on generators and all the things, it was too late to take it back at that point. So I do plan to sell it, and I just have not posted on Facebook Marketplace. But when I do sell it, like I said, it will not pay off the full amount, but it will pay off a substantial chunk of it, because the generator, I think, is normally priced at like $1,300 brand new. So I honestly feel that I could sell it for $1,000. Like I said, it's never been used. Not one drop of oil, gas, or anything has been put into it. So I feel like I could easily sell it for $1,000, given that you go buy it at the store for $13. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And I do have other people tell me just keep it. You know, use it for, have it just as for a backup. That way you'd have 2 generators, whatever. But I don't know. So anyway, the balance on it is $1,477.85. And the reason why it is a bit higher is because I did get the protection plan with it. So that's why it is a little bit higher. So, because I think the generator itself was like $13, and then the extended warranty was like $300, maybe $350, something like that. It was something where like that, because I want to say my original full price purchase was like $1,600 or $1,700. It was something like that. So payment on that one is $96. It is currently at 0% interest, and it is like that for 24 months. So that's going to be April, and like I said, I will fill in the actual date. So that will be April of 27. Next credit card, we're gonna say that's gonna be our Chase Business Inc. card. and that's going to be $2,676.15. That is a business credit card. It has a lot of my earlier purchases on it, and I'm very embarrassed to even discuss that this card is still a thing, because I've been recording on YouTube at least since like 2020. But it has a lot of my original purchases on it, like my MacBook, my camera, a lot of the equipment I bought. Just, it has a lot of stuff that, this is like the balance of like all that stuff. I haven't purchased on this card in a very long time, but because I'm only making minimum payments and it does have interest on it, you know, when you only make your minimum payments, it takes forever to pay this stuff off. So like I said, that is what I have. That's what this is from. So the minimum payment for this one is $75. It does have an interest rate of 27%, and it does not have any kind of promo with it. Okay, so that's our Chase Business Inc. All right, let's do our Business Amex. And Business Amex has $1,162.82. And minimum payment of $40. The interest rate is 27%, and it does not have a promo. Okay, is that all of my credit cards? Okay, last few credit cards I'm going to list on here. These are, I was debating on whether or not to add them, only because these are cards that I kind of use day to day, like kind of for regular daily spending, that I always pay off before the statement end date to avoid any interest or anything. But I guess I can go ahead and add them, and I'll just highlight them. But these are the cards that I kind of use day to day for purchases and things like that, like kind of like miscellaneous type spending. Like if I want to go, which I do plan to do that today, go to, like if I go to the bookstore, pick me up like, you know, a book or two, something like that, I will put that on a credit card, and then I will, like I said, I will pay it off before the statement end date. So we have my Costco card, and that one has a balance of $250.55. I don't know the minimum payment on that card, simply because, again, like I mentioned, I pay these cards off before the statement date hits, so I never really know what my minimum payment is. I don't know. My interest rate, I was able to figure that out from one of the statements. It is 27%, and there is no promos or anything that I know of. So that's the Costco card. My Best Buy credit card, and again, these are cards that are actually Visa cards, so I can use them anywhere, not just at the particular store. So we got the Costco card, Best Buy card. Best Buy is going to be $192.04 because I did get a gift for my nephew. I get him little gifts all the time. Again, I don't know the minimum payment of that one, like I said, because I pay it off before the end of the statement date or whatever. So there's that. The percent rate for it is 29%. It does have promos for purchases, so technically this purchase that I put on here, it's interest free, and I have 6 months to pay it off. But I'm not going to worry about putting the promo end date on it, because like I said, it's going to be paid off before this next statement cycle is over. So Home Depot, I purchased a few things to spruce up the kitchen, like some paint and whatnot, things like that. That has a balance of $259.31. Again, I don't know the payment, the minimum payment amount, like I said, because I always pay it off at the end. If I ever use it, I pay it off at the end of the month. The Home Depot card, that is a store only card, so I can't use it anywhere else but Home Depot. I do know the interest rate is 28%. So next I'm going to zoom into loan debt. So let's just go ahead and talk about the big boy. That's going to be our SoFi personal loan. And the total balance of that one is $28,681.74. The minimum payment for this SoFi loan is $758.04. It is on an interest rate of 14.67%, and there is no promo with it. All right, so that is the personal loan. The next kind of outstanding loan I have is I do have an Affirm, and the Affirm balance is $845 total. Oh, okay, $845. My minimum payment each month is $36.75. It currently has a 0% interest rate, and it is 0% until like it's paid off. I'm assuming that possibly changes if I miss payments or something. And I don't know. I've seen other people have different experiences with Affirm, but anytime I've used Affirm, I never have any interest. I don't know. I never have any interest with my payments for Affirm. It's always, I just pay them back what I borrowed. So I don't know how they make money. I don't know. That's for another thought, another day. But I never have interest when I use Affirm, and I use Affirm pretty sparingly, not very often, even though they do keep increasing my spending amount, the amount that I can Affirm, and I'm like, stop doing that. Stop doing that. I have a Wells Fargo small business. It's not a loan. It's actually a business line of credit. So the balance on that one is $5,872.89. Minimum payment is $132. Interest rate on that line of credit is 12%, and there is no promo. That again is another debt that I did not attempt to include in my personal loan for debt consolidation, again because I don't want to commingle business debt with personal debt. So let's get into my real estate debt, which I just have one, which is my house. So I'm gonna say mortgage, because I can never remember my creditor's name. My mortgage has changed hands so many times since I've been in this house. Let me know down below in the comments, how many times has your mortgage been sold or moved to a different financial institution? Since I've been in this house, I've probably had like 5 different loan servicers. I don't know. There was even one year, it was either last year or the year before. Last year or the year before, I actually had 2 loan servicers in 1 year, and then at the tail end of the year I got a letter that that I would be moving to another servicer. So if that had executed in that same year, that would have been 3 different servicers in 1 year. So yeah, it's crazy. So I'm just gonna put mortgage, because like I said, I don't even know the name of my servicer right now. I don't even know. I think it's Mr. Cooper, I think. Maybe, I don't know. So the current principal balance on my mortgage is $190. No, $190,000, $850.60. So it is $190,850.60. I wish my loan was $190 left. That bad boy will be paid off right now. So that is the balance. My minimum payment per month is $1,574.28. Although I just round up to $1,575, and my interest rate is delicious. I bought my house kind of during that time where interest rates were like at all-time lows. If my credits was a little bit better, which my credit, when I was going into buy my house, of course my credit has taken a hit since I've accumulated more debt, but at the time that I bought my house, my credit score sat just above 700 at the time, and I think had it been a little higher, like more closer to 800, I probably would have gotten those really succulent, delicious interest rates that other people were getting. But nevertheless, I still feel mine is very delicious. I have an interest rate on my mortgage of 3.25%, and of course that is under no kind of promo. We just paying that till, you know, end of time. But No, but it is getting better. I will say my first like year, maybe going on 2 years here, I was always so disgusted to look at like my payment breakdowns for where my mortgage payments were going. So much was going to interest, like a disgusting amount was going to interest. And I know loans are like that on the front end, but I will say this past year, I've been seeing more and more go to the principal, which is always nice. So it's nice. It's nice. All right, so that's my mortgage. That's the only real estate debt that I have. I do not have any auto debt because I paid off my car last year. So no auto debt there. Student loans. So student loans. I currently have, and if you look back at my last debt confession video, I want to say my student loans was less than this. I have not gone back to school since that video. So mind you, if you go back and you compare the amounts, this has only been inflated due to interest. I've not gone back to school. So, cause I want to say when I did that first debt confession video, my student loan debt was maybe like 116K or something like that. It is now sitting at a whopping $127,174. I don't know the cents. Minimum payment, I don't have one currently. Interest rate, they are varying because my student loans are not consolidated. They're all still like in those individual things, loans. So they're like varying interest rates. So I don't know. And then there is no promo situation there. Reason why I do not currently have a minimum payment for my student loans is I'm a part of like this class action litigation situation that is still going on. And because I'm a part of that, I don't have a student loan payment until that is resolved. So I don't really know all the logistics about it. I don't know. I just know I was put a part of this class action lawsuit because of one of the schools that I attended, where some of my loans went to. So I don't really know all the details. I just know I don't have a payment. I got a letter I've gotten several letters since this lawsuit has been going on and it continues to basically extend like the date that I will have to start making student loan payments. And the very last letter I got, which was maybe 2 months ago, it has extended it out again to like, I don't make a payment until like, I think September of 2028, maybe. I don't know. So like I said, I keep getting letters that it keeps getting extended. So I just been letting it be extended. Okay. So let's see. Let's total us up here. So credit card debt, $6,435. And I may speed this up because oh my God. So my total debt is $376,966.31. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now we're going to zip back to a sit down chit chat so we can talk about how we're going to tackle all this debt. So, woo, that was a lot. So like I said earlier in the video, and you saw the totals, about, 370K in debt that we need to start attacking. How I plan to do that, debt snowball is what I plan to do right now. I want to attack my credit cards first, like all the lingering credit cards that I have. I want to get those done, paid off. Then I want to move towards that SoFi personal loan, get that knocked out. From there, I will essentially only have my student loans and my mortgage. I want to become debt free, accepting the mortgage. So essentially, once I get these credit cards paid off and that SoFi personal loan, I will then start to attack my student loan debt. As I mentioned in the overview, my loans are currently, like my payments for my loans are currently paused due to this class action lawsuit situation that's going on. Again, recently got a letter that says that payments will not be due until like September of 2028. So my plan is to get all of my kind of consumer debt as well as that SoFi personal loan paid off. I've been trying to look at and play around with time frames to see how I can do that, like within the amount of time. I'm looking at, honestly, probably about a 2-year process. I don't know. And that is if I stick to it and I'm very, very intentional with what I'm doing, with my budgeting, with my debt payoff strategy, not adding to more debt, all the things. I'm looking at probably like a 2-year process. That's what I would like. 2-year process, get it all wiped out. And then at that point, I would just have my student loans and a mortgage. And then once I do get to that point of just the student loan and the mortgage, hopefully that is 2 years from now, which will be before my payments start up for my student loans. That is what I would like to do. I would like to start attacking my student loans before I am required to pay them. Because if I can start knocking, those loans out, because again, like I mentioned, my loans are not consolidated, so they are all individual, loans. So if I can start knocking those out, then that means once it comes time to pay, I could have probably a reasonable payment amount. Because I think where my loans are sitting right now, it would not shock me if my minimum payment is close to $1,000 or even a little bit over, and we don't want to do that. No. So that is my plan, is to hopefully get the consumer debt paid off within the next 2 years, and then immediately start to attack my student loan debt before I'm required to make any payments. And then as far as my house, I'm not really in a rush there, paying off the house. I'm not, because ultimately this is not the final situation with the home. We do plan to relocate to another home. But yeah, that's my plan. Pretty nerve-wracking, pretty scary. But I think I have a good plan to address it. And that's one thing I do like about the snowball method, is that you can kind of see those gains and those wins by following that method, because you're paying off the smallest to the largest. So you get to see that return on your effort more quickly than you would with, like, say, the debt avalanche method. But I would say the debt avalanche method, it may make sense in situations where your interest is kind of killing you, which any credit card debt, the interest rate is killing you. And as you did see, I did have a few like 0% interest cards and things like that. So while I may be doing a debt snowball, I may be jumping out of order from time to time, just to make sure that I knock out those 0% interest cards before that promotion period ends. So still doing a debt snowball, but it's going to be kind of, altered just a little bit, just to make sure I do not miss the deadline on those 0% interest cards. So that is my full debt confession. We're going to start tackling this debt one at a time, sometimes 2 or 3 at a time, because like I said, I have this month, I have the goal to knock out any debt that's under $1,000. And I want to say I have like maybe 3 or 4 like that, maybe just 3, maybe, but I'm going to try to get all those knocked out this month. So let me know down below in the comments how you are doing in your debt freedom journey. Are you kind of deep in? Are you just starting? Just let me know where you are. All right, if you enjoyed today's video, definitely give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any more of my videos. Bye.